Good morning, good morning. Time for convening has arrived. The Senate will come to order. All unauthorized personnel, please exit the chamber at this time. I recognize the senator from the 6th. Reading of the journal.
Good morning, Mr. President. Happy March 27th to you. You look very nice today. I like that tie.
I appreciate that, Senator.
You
looking pretty grown up too today.
Yeah, you look very professional. I'm proud of you. Come a long way. Mr. President, we got a great...
If they only knew us back in our University of Georgia.
Well, you always dress nice, though, you know? Just always acted like you belonged.
All right, let's go on.
All right, Mr. President, we got a great list of pages today that have traveled to the state capitol from all over this great state. Out of Decula, I have Sisters Addison and Isabella Adkins. Out of Atlanta, Nuna Adavor. Out of Dunwoody, Elizabeth Becerra. Out of Atlanta, Samantha Boakey. Out of Fairburn, Gloria Budowin. Out of Locust Grove, Turner Breedlove. Out of Jonesboro, Skylar Cody. Out of Broxton, we have a set of twins in Eli and Seth Hope. Out of Marietta, Molly Johnson. Out of Sewanee, Candace Luo. Out of McDonough, we have brother and sister Nate and Naya Malbrew. Out of Marietta, we have brother and sister Jackson and Aniston McCoy. Out of Douglas, Johanna Merritt. From Decatur, Layla Mims. From Locust Grove, Ella Parker. From Jonesboro, Oshemyemi Perry. From Riverdale, Caius Rogers. From Nichols, Camden Roundtree. From Atlanta, Sophie Sanders. And from Evans, last but not least, we have Tinley Tapley. Y'all give these pages a big round of applause. Appreciate y'all being here to help us do the people's business in the Georgia State Senate. Mr. President, the journal has been read and found to be correct.
All right. Thank you, Senator. Is there objection to dispensing of the reading of the journal? Chair hears none. The reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there objection to confirmation of the journal? Chair hears none. The journal is confirmed. All senators who have bills and resolutions to introduce, please bring them to the Secretary's desk at this time. First reading and references to Senate bills and resolutions. Secretary.
Senate Bill 356 by Senator Anna Vitarte, the 31st. Bill to entitle an act to provide a homestead exemption from Bolton
State
County.
and local government.
Senate Bill 357 by Senator Harrell, the 40th, and others. Bill to entitle an act to.
Ethics.
Senate Bill 358 by Senator Jones, the 10th, and others.
State and local government.
Senate Bill 359 by Senator Jones, the 10th, and others. Bills being entitled an act to amend an act to provide for the new Board of Commissioners of Henry County, approved March 28, 1974, as amended to revise.
State and local government.
Senate Bill 360 by Senator Harrell, the 40th, and others. Bills being entitled an act to amend Chapter 4, Title 49.
Health and Human Services.
Senate Bill 361 by Senator Brass, the 6th, and others. Bills being entitled an act to amend Article 6, Chapter 3, Title 44, the official code.
Rules.
Senate Resolution 463 by Senator Gooch, the 51st. Senate Resolution 454 by Senator Beach at the 21st, and others. A resolution recognizing Mr. Kerry Williams Jr. and dedicating a road in his honor and for other purposes.
Transportation.
Senate Resolution 463 by Senator Gooch, the 51st, and others. A resolution honoring the life of Trooper Chase Winston Redner.
Transportation.
Senate Resolution 474 by Senator Orca, the 36th, and others. A resolution creating a Senate study committee on higher education affordability and for other purposes.
Rules.
Mr. President, that completes the order.
Recognize the majority leader for a motion.
Mr. President, I ask for unanimous consent to suspend Senate Rule 3-3.1, Paragraph A, to allow for the reading and the assignment of an appointment to the Judicial Legal Defense Fund Commission.
Is there objection? Secretary, read the caption.
Mr. President, the Senate has received a communication from the President of the Council of Superior Court Judges of Georgia requesting that the Senate confirm the appointment of Judge Chris Hughes to the Judicial Legal Defense Fund Commission. This communication has been placed on each senator's desk. Mr. President, that completes the order.
All right. Without objection, that bill will be assigned to a committee on assignments. First reading references the House bills.
House Bill 747 by Representative Cummings of the 39th and others. Bills being titled an act to amend an act creating the State Court of Cobb County, approved March 26, 1964, as amended so as to change the compensation of judges of the State Court of Cobb County to provide for related matters, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes.
State and local government.
House Bill 755 by Representative Bollinger of the 23rd and others. Bills being titled an act to authorize the governing authority of Cherokee County to levy.
State and local government.
House Bill 758 by Representative Mathiak of the
State and local government.
House Bill 759 by Representative Campbell, the 135th and others.
State and local government.
House Bill 760 by Representative Staines, the 180th and others. Bills being titled an act to amend an act creating the Board of Commissioners of Glenn County, approved February 11, 1937, as amended, particularly by an act approved April 13, 2001, so as to change the annual salary of the chairperson and members of the board, to provide for withholding of compensation for certain meeting absences, to provide for related matters, to provide for an effective date, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes.
State and local government.
House Bill 761 by Representative Clark of the 108th and others. Bills being titled an act.
State and local government.
House Bill 762 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd and
State
others.
and local government.
House Bill 763 by Representative Stevens, the 164th and others. Bills being titled an act to create and establish the Richard Hill Bryan County Airport Authority. And
State and local government.
House Bill 764 by Representative Jaspers, the 11th. The bill to be
State
titled.
and local government.
House Bill 766 by Representative Chiokas, the 151st. The bill to be titled an act to create and establish.
State and local government.
House Bill 771 by Representative Thomas, the 21st and others. Bill to be titled an act to amend an act providing for a homestead
State and
exemption.
local government.
House Bill 782 by Representative Stevens, the 164th and others. Bill to be entitled.
State and local government.
House Bill 783 by Representative Richardson, the 125th and others. Bill to be entitled an act to provide a
State
homestead.
and local government.
House Bill 784 by Representative Richardson, the 125th and others. Bill to be entitled an act to provide a homestead exemption from Columbia County.
State and local government.
Mr. President, that completes the order.
All right. Secretary Reed reports of standing committees.
Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Appropriations has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 68, due pass by substitute, respectfully submitted, Senator Tillery, the 19th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Economic Development and Tourism has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 14, due pass by substitute, respectfully submitted, Senator Beach, the 21st District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Education and Youth has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 37, due pass by substitute. House Bill 200, due pass by substitute. House Bill 451, due pass, respectfully submitted, Senator Hickman of the 4th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Ethics has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 214, due pass by committee substitute, respectfully submitted, Senator Watson, the 11th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Finance has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 52, due pass by substitute. House Bill 136, due pass by substitute. House Bill 186, due pass by substitute. House Bill 370, due pass by substitute. House Bill 532, due pass, respectfully submitted, Senator Huffstetter of 52nd District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Higher Education has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 56, due pass. House Bill 150, due pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Hickman of the 4th District, Vice Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Judiciary has had under consideration the following legislation, has instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 123, due pass by substitute. House Bill 171, due pass by substitute. House Bill 179, due pass by substitute. House Bill 304, due pass by substitute. House Bill 358, due pass. House Bill 430, due pass. House Bill 460, due pass. House Bill 531, due pass by substitute. House Bill 627, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Strickland of the 42nd District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on State and Local Governmental Operations has had under consideration the following legislation and instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 340 do pass, Senate Bill 344 do pass, Senate Bill 345 do pass, Senate Bill 347 do pass, Senate Bill 348 do pass, Senate Bill 349 do pass, Senate Bill 350 do pass, Senate Bill 351 do pass, Senate Bill 355 do pass, House Bill 157 do pass, House Bill 625 do pass, House Bill 737 do pass, House Bill 739 do pass, House Bill 742 do pass, House Bill 741 do pass, House Bill 743 do pass, House Bill 744 do pass, House Bill 685 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dixon, the 45th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on State and Local Governmental Operations General has had under consideration the following legislation and instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 244 do pass, House Bill 521 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dixon, the 45th District Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Transportation has had under consideration the following legislation and instructed me to report the same back to the Senate with the following recommendation. House Bill 224 do pass, House Bill 339 do pass, House Bill 638 do pass, House Resolution 7 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dolezal, the 27th District Chairman. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Secretary will read bills and resolutions for the second time.
Senate Bill 214 by Senator Burns, the 23rd, and others, elections and primaries, electors to cast physical absentee on request ballots as an alternative to using other authorized means of casting in-person votes authorized. House Bill 14 by Representative Carpenter, the 4th, and others, state symbols, corporate its official state bread, designate. House Bill 37 by Representative Leverett, the 123rd, and others, education require local school systems to notify employees regarding Social Security withholdings and eligibility for certain benefits. House Bill 52 by Representative Rice, the 139th, and others, ad valorem tax, qualified disabled veterans, extend homestead exemption to unremarried surviving spouses or minor children. House Bill 56 by Representative Petrie, the 166, and others. Education grants to spouses of law enforcement officers, firefighters, and prison guards who are killed or permanently disabled in the line of duty provide. House Bill 61 by Representative Seabaugh, the 34th, and others. Motor vehicles, issuance of separate license plates for hearses and ambulances provide. House Bill 68 by Representative Burns, the 159th, and others. General appropriations, state fiscal year July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. House Bill 123, Representative Worcestershire, 157th, and others. Criminal procedure, pretrial proceedings, and capital offense cases where the death penalty is sought when the accused has an intellectual disability provide. House Bill 129, Representative Cannon, the 172nd, and others. Ad valorem tax, modify conservation use property, remove the limitation on leased property as to certain entities. House Bill 136, Representative Newton, the 127th, and others. Income tax contributions to foster child support organizations, expand tax credit. House Bill 147, Representative Thomas, the 21st, and others. Georgia Technology Authority, annual inventory of artificial intelligence usage by state agencies provide. House Bill 150, Representative Fleming, the 114th, and others. Combating threats from China Act of 2025, Higher Education Enact. House Bill 171, Representative Thomas, the 21st, and others. Crimes and offenses, obscenity, repeal and place code section 16-12-80. House Bill 179, Representative Smith, the 18th, and others. Appellate practice, digital recording of certain trial proceedings provide. House Bill 186, Representative Ridley, the 22nd, and others. Revenue taxation, eliminate title ad valorem tax fee requirement for certain inherited vehicles. House Bill 200 by Representative Bazemore, the 69th, and others. State Board of Education establish a 3-year pilot immersive writing program for eligible public elementary schools provide. House Bill 224 by Representative Bonner, the 73rd, and others. Highways, bridges, and ferries, construction or maintenance of roads upon military bases or installations paid for by the United States Department of Defense or other entities authorized. House Bill 244 by Representative Cannon, the 172nd, and others. State auditor, local governments to request and receive in certain circumstances due date extensions related to filing annual audits provide. House Bill 279, Representative Anderson, the 10th, and others. Ad valorem tax define multi-purpose off-highway vehicle provisions. House Bill 304, Representative Yarstyle, the 152nd, and others. Local government, Georgia Municipal Court Clerks Council create. House Bill 308, Representative Clifton, the 131st, and others. Motor vehicles, operation of a miniature on-road vehicles on certain highways provide. House Bill 339, Representative Leverett, the 123rd, and others. Motor vehicles exempt rideshare drivers or rideshare network services from definition of motor carrier. House Bill 358, Representative Smith, the 138th, and others. Agriculture prohibiting acquisition of possessory interest in certain land by certain foreign persons and entities provide for a definition. House Bill 370, Representative Gaines, the 120th, and others. Ad valorem tax, school districts, statewide base year homestead exemptions provisions. House Bill 430, Representative Saines, the 180th, and others. Sexual offender risk review board, venue for certain petitions regarding state sexual offender registry provide. House Bill 451, Representative Cannell, 172nd, and others. Quality Basic Education Act, local board shall be authorized to provide instruction in hunting safety in grades 6 through 12 provide. House Bill 460, Representative Panish, of the 51st, and others. Evidence excludes certain communications made between attorney and client when client is in a penal institution. House Bill 521, Representative Anderson of the 10th and others. Local government de-annexation of certain property to revise procedures. House Bill 531, Representative Reeves of the 9th and others. Appeal and error certain appellate procedures regarding the denial of sovereign and other immunity available to state or a city or county in the state provide. House Bill 532, Representative Deloche of the 167th. Conservation and natural resources, grants and special revenue disbursements, revised provisions. House Bill 627, Representative Persinger of the 119th and others. Courts, juvenile proceedings, use of deadly weapon, revised provision. House Bill 638, Representative Silcox of the 53rd and others. MARTA prohibits stopping or parking of a motor vehicle other than the transit vehicle in a designated transit vehicle lane in the city of Atlanta. House Resolution 7 by Representative Campbell, the 171st. George C. Trulock Jr. Memorial Highway, Grady County, dedicated. Mr. President, that completes the order.
It is now time for the morning roll call. Are there any motions to excuse? Recognize the senator from the 33rd.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning, y'all. Ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 26th, 27th, 36th, and 39th, and the 10th for business inside the Capitol.
All right, so Senators 26, 27, 36, 39th, and the 10th.
Yes, sir.
Without objection, those senators are excused. Recognize Senator from the 49th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 52nd and 54th for business inside the Capitol.
52nd and 54th. Without objections, the senators are excused. Recognize Senator from the 6th.
Mr. President, I ask for unanimous consent to excuse the senator from the 30th for business inside the Capitol.
Without objection, the senator from the 30th is excused. Secretary will call the roll. Senator, signify your presence by voting the yea switch. Secretary, unlock the machine. It is now time for our morning devotion. All senators, please take your seats to cease all conversation. I would ask that the doorkeepers secure the chamber at this time. Now recognize the senator from the 43rd to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance and introduce our chaplain of the day. Senator?
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, join me for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Georgia flag. Pledge allegiance to the Georgia flag, principles which stand, freedom, justice, moderation, and justice. Good morning. I am here to present our very capable chaplain of the day, Pastor Eric Wendell Lee Sr. He has a litany of accomplishments and experiences from various disciplines and fields. He's a graduate of Morehouse College. Pastor Lee earned a Bachelor of Arts with honors in history and was thereafter deemed at Vanderbilt University Divinity School, Nashville, Tennessee, as their Kelly Smith Scholar. Deeply affected by the plight of the poor and disheartened, Pastor Lee concentrated in ethics, religion, and society at Vanderbilt, receiving honors for his senior project. During this time, he served as a radio talk show host at Fisk University and labored with the Nashville city government in workforce development. Pastor Lee also worked as professional child advocate in Indianapolis, Indiana, and in Atlanta, Georgia. Subsequent to receiving the Master of Divinity degree, on March the 10th, 1996, Pastor Lee was ordained into the Christian ministry on May 11th. Thereafter, he continued in pursuit of the mark for the prize of the high calling in Christ Jesus via youth ministry, music ministry, and the preached word. In July 1994, Pastor Lee joined the former Meek L. John in lifelong matrimony. The Lord has blessed their union with 4 beautiful children: Eric Wendell Lee II, Elizabeth Wonder Lee, Emmanuel Warwick Lee, Ellis Winton Lee. You see how the EWLs? Pastor Lee has served as a board member for several community organizations that include Hands on Newton, One Voice of Newton County, Equity Council of Rockdale Public School System, Newton County Tomorrow, Impact, United Rockdale Summit, Lighthouse Village of Rockdale County, and Rockdale County United Way. Pastor Lee and his wife are 2007 graduates of Leadership Georgia. In 2008, Pastor was recognized by the Atlanta Business Chronicle as one of Atlanta's 100 most influential pastors. That same year, he was honored by the 14th Annual Gospel Choice Awards as a 2008 chosen pastor. Pastor Lee is a lifetime member of the Morehouse College National Alumni Association, joined the Executive Council of the Hampton University Ministers Conference. Understanding the necessity of education and preparation, Pastor Lee returned to the Academy as a Doctorate of Ministry candidate in the Redemptive Leadership track at Gordon Conwell Theological School. I present to you the Reverend Dr. Eric Wendell Lee Sr., pastor of Springfield Baptist Church, Conyers, Georgia.
It is an honor to address you on this occasion, and I certainly want to make the most of our time leading in the last days. We're in the home stretch of the Georgia General Assembly of 2025. We've got about a week left, and I hope and pray to give you something to think about, to meditate on for your prayerful consideration during your last days. March the 27th is the 160th anniversary of a convocation, a meeting between President Abraham Lincoln, General Ulysses Grant, Rear Admiral David Dixon Porter, General William Sherman, who just months earlier burned down Atlanta. They met at City Point, Virginia, to strategize on how to end the Civil War, how to end the conflict between the states. And as a proud descendant of the South and as a proud descendant of the formerly enslaved, it's interesting to consider that only about 24% of Southerners owned slaves. The vast majority, 76%, did not, and the vast majority were too poor to afford slaves. And somehow, poor, uneducated Southerners fought and died for the right to own something that they could not afford. This was a rich man's war fought by America's poorest and least educated. There was a convocation 160 years ago today to end that war. And then just 13 days later, General Robert E. Lee on April the 9th, 160 years ago, surrendered at Appomattox. The meeting from 13 days later led to the capitulation 13 days afterwards. Then just 6 days later, there was an assassination. The 16th president became the first president assassinated on April the 15th. Abraham Lincoln spent his last days trying to end a war that claimed the lives of 750,000 soldiers. What's interesting is that the 160th anniversary of Lincoln's last days is during this year's Holy Week. Holy Week 2025 is not only an invitation to remember the last days of Lincoln's leadership, but it's an invitation to remember the last days of Jesus' leadership. The assassination of President Lincoln will be remembered on April the 15th. On April the 18th, we will remember the execution of Jesus of Nazareth. But then on April the 20th, we will remember the resurrection of our Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christ. I noticed in coming here today that you just got new Bibles as you entered this building today. Spoiler alert, your new book resolves at resurrection. How are you going to spend your last days in the Georgia General Assembly of 2025? Exploitation, assassination, execution, or resurrection? Making war or ending war? Helping or hurting? Being a burden or being a blessing? Jesus is the proof that you can change the world in your last days. So walk together, children. Don't you get weary. There is a great camp meeting in the promised land. O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal home. God, we submit ourselves as your servants in this day. May we surrender to the love of Christ. May we surrender to the one who laid down his life that we might live more abundantly. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
It is always a pleasure to have our doctors of the day, all the physicians that come down here and donate their time and resources and skills to the Capitol. We're always greatly appreciated. And to introduce our... That will wake you up. Introduce our special guest. Our doctor of the day is Senator from the 21st. Senator?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a great honor to introduce Dr. Jeff Stone. He lives in my district in Canton. And Dr. Stone graduated from Bucknell University. Then he went to medical school at St. George University. And then he decided he wanted to also be a businessman, so he got an MBA from Georgia State University, the J. Mac Robinson School of Business. And he's really changing medicine. He's part of a group that owns 53 clinics to where they can provide quality and affordable health care. And he's really making inroads to make sure everybody can get to access to, again, good quality health care. So with that, I want to thank him for being down here for Doctor of the Day and introduce Dr. Jeff Stone.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Senator Beach. It only makes sense that you introduce me and to take this opportunity to express my gratitude and genuine thanks for the passionate, hardworking people such as yourselves and serving the greatest state of the greatest country in the world. We all share one thing in common, and that is we're all patients. So I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that maybe the most sacred part of that is the time-honored and part of medicine, maybe the most effective part of medicine, and that is the doctor-patient relationship. I don't need to remind you, but to implore, maybe if I must, that we've all been in that position where either a pharmaceutical company makes something that's just not affordable, or a payer won't pay, and you have to pre-certify, and God forbid, something of a legislative mandate that may get in the way of anything. So keep that in mind to preserve and protect that as you work through your days here. And once again, thank you for helping to preserve and protect that sacred right. But thank you more for your dedication and your service to the great people of the great state of this great country. Again, thank you very much, and have a great day.
We have some very special guests from Lowndes County here with us today. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 327 by Senator Goodman of the 8th and others, a resolution recognizing and commending Lowndes County on its occasion of its bicentennial and for other purposes. Whereas Lowndes County was created by an act of the Georgia General Assembly on December 23, 1825, marking 200 years of rich history and progress. And whereas today Lowndes County is home to a thriving population of approximately 120,700 residents and serves as a regional hub for economic growth and vitality. whereas Lowndes County is home to Moody Air Force Base, which plays a critical role in national defense and local economy, and whereas the municipalities of Lowndes County, including Valdosta, Hayhira, Dasher, Lake Park, and Bremerton, contribute to the county's diverse and vibrant community. That therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize and commend Lowndes County on this occasion of its bicentennial and extend best wishes for continued prosperity and success. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. Recognize the senator from the 8th.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. It is an honor for me to have my friends from Lowndes County here. 200 years since the founding of Lowndes County. I've also asked for my son, JR, to come up here because JR's 5th great-grandfather was actually one of the first county commissioners, and I've always thought he was the first legislator to represent Lowndes County, but he was the second after I researched it this weekend. So for me to be representing Lowndes County 200 years later, it's a pretty special thing, and just thank you, Mr. Governor, for allowing us to do this, and members of the chamber. And if you don't mind, I'd like to ask my good friend, Chairman Bill Slaughter, to say a few words.
Thank you, Russ. I want to just tell everyone just how much we appreciate the heavy lifting that this body did for not only Lowndes County, but the South Georgia area. As you know, of course, we were devastated by hurricanes. Within 13 months, we had some localized flooding. We had 2 hurricanes, straight line winds that just did a tremendous amount of damage to South Georgia. The agricultural industry, the timber industry, there was no one that was left untouched. But with the help from this body right here, we're beginning to get back to where we need to be. So again, I just want to thank you. It's a great opportunity to come before you. It is our 200th bicentennial. We'll be having a lot of celebrations in Lowndes County. So if you have your opportunity to get down there, come down and just take a few minutes and enjoy our community. You'll be more than welcome. And again, thank y'all very, very much for what y'all done for South Georgia through these disasters that we've had to deal with. So thank you.
We got some very special people from North Georgia with us today. Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 443 by Senator Gooch to the 51st, and others, a resolution commending Camp Gleason upon its 100th anniversary and for other purposes. Whereas in 1925, in an effort to find a new location for a summer camp, Reverend E.D. Hale and Reverend H.L. Bird arranged to use 4 dirt floor cabins in an open picnic shelter on 2 acres owned by the Dahlonega Chamber of Commerce located north of town near Cane Creek Falls. And whereas the first summer camp's attendance of 26 campers has grown to over 3,200 summer campers and nearly 12,000 annual guests, the 4 original cabins have expanded to over 420 year-round beds, and the 2 acres of leased property have grown to 380 acres owned by Gleason. And whereas the North Georgia Conference of the United Methodist Church has been committed to the impact of decades of Gleason's campers who have practiced loving God and loving their neighbor, becoming better, more capable citizens, now therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body commend Camp Gleason upon its 100th anniversary for its contributions to both church and society, through the strengthening of the Christian character and servant leadership capacity of countless children, youth, and young adults. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to the adoption of resolution? Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. Recognize the majority leader. Speak to the resolution.
All righty. Good morning, Senators. It's a great day to be in the state capitol to bring some friends from my district. Today we recognize 100 years of Camp Gleason. What began in 1925 with 4 dirt floor cabins and just 26 campers has grown into one of Georgia's most beloved institutions of faith and community, serving over 3,200 summer campers and 12,000 annual guests every year on 380 beautiful acres near downtown Dahlonega. For a century now, Camp Gleason has embodied the message to love God and love their neighbor, words that have guided generations of campers in their growth and their leadership. This is more than just a summer camp. It's a sacred place where lifelong friendships are formed, where marriages begin, and where young people find their place in the family of faith. The camp has been a Dahlonega hallmark. For centuries, it was a gathering place for indigenous people. At one time, it even powered the city of Dahlonega's towering iron water wheel. And today, it remains a source of reflection, inspiration, and awe for campers and guests alike. On behalf of the Georgia Senate, and as someone deeply proud of what this organization represents, thank you, Camp Gleason, for the impact you are making to many, many Georgians' lives. I want to especially thank the guests that are here with me today. Standing behind me is Executive Director Russell Davis, Board Chairman Reverend Bill Martin, Board Member Bill Hardman, co-chairs of the 100th Anniversary Steering Committee, Lee Highsmith and Katie Horn. Thank you for the rest of the board, staff, volunteers, and everyone who has shaped Gleason's story over the past century. May the next 100 years be filled with even more joy, more growth, and more young people sent out into the world ready to depart to serve. Senators, please welcome to the podium Executive Director Russell Davis.
Thank you, Senator Gooch, Lieutenant Governor Jones, and members of the Senate. We appreciate this honor, and on behalf of the United Methodists of North Georgia and our bishop, we thank you for the opportunity to celebrate this 100th anniversary. We look forward to continuing to serve all of Georgia's children, youth, and young adults in building relationships, in deepening their Christian character, in growing their ability to have servant leadership, and to helping to develop new generations for the next 100 years. Thank you for this honor today.
Senators, if you or anyone in your family has ever been to Camp Gleason for a camp or whatever visit, come on up and take a picture with us. Please join us.
Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 200 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and others, resolution recognizing and commending HOPE AACR, Animal-Assisted Crisis Response for other purposes. Whereas consisting of highly trained handlers and crisis response canines, HOPE AACR teams are prepared to support mental health professionals on location and adapt to unpredictable situations, often deploying on short notice. And whereas in the aftermath of Hurricanes Debbie, Helene, and Milton, HOPE AACR response teams deployed to Florida State Operations Center in Tallahassee supported staff working on the FEMA Region 4 Regional Response Coordination Center in Atlanta and assisted impacted communities in South Georgia. And whereas in 2024 alone, HOPE AACR's Southeast region logged close to 150 volunteer hours and engaged in 1,200 meaningful interactions with Georgia disaster victims. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize and commend the volunteers and canines of HOPE AACR, Animal Assisted Crisis Response, for their dedicated, effective, and selfless service on behalf of those in need, as well as extend best wishes for continued success. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Recognize Senator from the 32nd to speak to the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today we're excited to welcome members of the HOPE Animal Assisted Crisis Response Team to the Georgia Senate. They're a national nonprofit and they pair highly trained handlers with trained crisis response canines. And they've been doing this for 25 years. So today we've got members of HOPE's Southeast region. We've got Sweet Pea and her handler, Melanie Dallas, who many of you also know as CEO of the Highland Rivers Behavioral Health, and she lives in Pickens County. Oliver and his handler, Dave Thomas, from Coweta County, and Roby and his handler, Tammy McGill, from Gwinnett County, as well as Mila Mitchell, HOPE Area Coordinator of the Southeast region, who lives in DeKalb County. The mission of the organization is to provide comfort and encouragement to individuals affected by disasters and crises by providing animal-assisted support. In 2024, the HOPE team from the Southeast logged close to 150 hours and engaged in 1,200 interactions with Georgia disaster victims. They're prepared to support our communities on location, and they often deploy on very short notice. These teams are extensively trained in incident command, first aid and CPR for humans and canines, emotional first aid, and trauma recognition. And they work alongside local and national response agencies such as FEMA and the American Red Cross. Ways that the HOPE teams can help you: they can do death notifications, they can respond to traumatic events that affect schools, structure fires, suicides, multi-casualty events, emergency rooms, and many other things. So I hope that you all will welcome our emotional support animals today, and I'm going to ask Melanie Dallas to come and say a few words. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you so much. It is a true honor to be here, and we are so grateful for this recognition. It's also a privilege that we have to serve Georgians all over the state who are affected by disaster. Some of the things that you may have heard about that have happened in our communities are places that we've actually deployed to. We were at the Appalachia High School shooting. We actually had an extended time where we actually supported the school system and families in that sense. We have actually been embedded with the Coast Guard. We do yellow ribbon campaigns with the National Guard. We have responded to suicide deaths just actually recently to support staff that have been impacted. Law enforcement, line of duty deaths, and even recently we had 42 teams nationally that deployed to California to support what was happening based on the California fires. So again, it is a privilege that we have to support Georgians affected by disaster, and if you know of a disaster in your area, we've got some information with Senator Kirkpatrick. You can look us up, hopeaacr.org. Feel free to call us if you feel like there's a need in your community. Again, thank you. We are sincerely grateful to be honored here today by the Senate.
We've got a special guest. You know, I've always got a soft spot for old high school football coaches, and we've got a good one here today. So we've got a late arriving resolution. Secretary, please read the resolution.
Senate Resolution 358 by Senator Lucas to the 26th and others, a resolution recognizing and commending Alvin J. Copeland and for other purposes. Whereas Alvin J. Copeland has dedicated 47 years of service to the field of education and athletics, shaping the lives of countless students as a teacher, coach, and mentor, and whereas he joined Northeast High School in Macon, Georgia in 1970, where he taught health and physical education until 2000, served as department chairman from 1973 to 2000, and worked as athletic director and head coach for cross country, girls basketball, and girls and boys track and field until his retirement in 2011. And whereas it is abundantly fitting and proper that this distinguished individual be appropriately honored during this special time, now therefore be it resolved by the Senate that the members of this body recognize and commend Alvin J. Copeland for his extraordinary career in education and athletics, honor his lasting contributions to student athletics across Georgia, and extend best wishes for future health and happiness. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Is there objection to adoption of the resolution? Chair hears none. The resolution is adopted. Recognize Senator from the 26th. Speak to the resolution.
If the senator from the 46 will join me while he's in conversation. I was hoping the majority leader was here and the president pro tem. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me an honor to introduce a man that did what we all ask coaches to do in preparing young folks to go out into the world. I'm going to introduce you I had the football team up here the other day. I'm going to introduce you the former athletic director at that school. He's a Hall of Fame coach, not in the Hall of Fame. But you know, it's HELL to win one state championship. This gentleman won 14 state championships at the high school that he was at. And so it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce a friend of mine who went to Fort Valley State, because I didn't get a chance to play against him because I was a lot younger than he is. But he's been a long-time friend. I would like for you to meet Alvin Copeland, former athletic director at Northeast High School, who coached at Northeast High School and won 14 state championships. And I just wanted to bring him here because I call him a Hall of Fame coach. Majority Leader. Majority Leader. I'd like to introduce to you all my friend, former athletic director and coach at Northeast High School, Alvin Copeland.
I'd like to thank you very much, Senator Lucas. I did not do all that by myself. Coach Lucas worked on our staff too, so he was helping getting all that kind of stuff done. And it wasn't in just one sport. We did it in different sports, girls basketball, boys track and field, and they were just good kids, and I just love them to death. And the thing that we have to do is to try to get in kids' head and let them know what life is about and what you need to do to be successful. They see me now and always talking about things that I made them do. And of course, I didn't really have to make them do it, but they wanted to do it anyway. Little things that happen with us, and I'll just tell you this. One night we came to Atlanta to play basketball, And we won the game, but we played like crap. So when we got back to the school, I told them, okay, well, I tell you all what, call your parents because we're going to practice tonight. It was about 11 o'clock, so we got back. So they all went, man, Coach must be crazy. I hear mumbling that. I said, yeah, you think I'm crazy. Well, what happened was I made them all dress and come sit in the center of the floor. They all sat down, and I got right in the middle of the circle, and I talked for about 10 minutes. I said, okay, get your stuff on and go home to your parents. They looked, but now that turned in, Coach made us play basketball 11 o'clock at night, and that is far from the truth, but they love to tell that. But I want to thank Coach Lucas for seeing fit to honor me with this kind of award. And I want to thank all the people here who got a chance to see me everywhere I go. Folk telling me I better not do anything because everybody know me. I said, no, that's not true. They don't know me everywhere. But I want to thank God for all that he has done for me. And again, I couldn't have done this by myself. Had to have great coaches with me. Thank you.
All right, good job. Good job. Good job. Are there any unanimous consents? Chair hears none. It's time. Moving on to points of personal privilege. I recognize the chairman from Statesboro, Georgia, the best CPA in Bullitt County is what I understand.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, today I rise to recognize and celebrate Executive Function Day at Georgia State Capitol. This momentous occasion marks the first time such recognition has been granted in both chambers of the Georgia General Assembly. Understanding the value and significance of teaching executive function, the cognitive and effective skills essential for students and learners of all ages to succeed in literacy, science, math, and everyday life. Recognizing Executive Function Day highlights the connection of a student's overall cognitive skills with their mental health and with their mental well-being. In a world where the demands of daily life continue to grow, nurturing and explicitly teaching executive function abilities is essential for helping students navigate challenges and pursue their lifelong goals effectively. I want to recognize today in the gallery and thank Suchata and Kamath, CEO and founder of EXQ and the nation's leading expert in the brain science of executive function. And I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Thank you. If y'all would, if everybody would please give her a hand applause, please. As I stated, she's in the gallery today, and I appreciate that. Thank y'all, and I yield the will.
Recognize the senator from the 11th.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my honor today to recognize some good South Georgia folks that's here with us. If you will, City of Thomasville, will y'all please stand up there and let everybody see how good looking y'all are? And if you want good, thank you. Let's give them a hand. Everybody gets done with the Masters, they can head down to Thomasville to the Rose Parade and the Rose Festival. It'll be going on the end of April 25th and 26th, I believe. And if you want good food, good quail hunting, and good shopping in a historic town, then come to Thomasville. Thank y'all for being here.
Recognize the senator from the 52nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've got a group of students here from the Rome City School System, a school that prepared my daughter well. One of my 3 children went there, and she's working on her PhD in physics thanks to their training, and they were pretty good training athletically for her as well. Dr. Eric Holland is the superintendent there, and his motto is, "I believe in you." And so what we've got here today is the Rome City School Student Advisory Council. That's a group of students in grades 7 through 12 who discuss how decisions are made at the school level affecting students. They amplify the student voice and equip students to take action by advocating for solutions. So this diverse group plays a vital role in shaping the educational experience for Rome City School students. They provide invaluable insights and feedback, and they've already had meetings with the Rome City Commissioners, the Rome Board of Education, and now they're down here with us. And if you guys would stand up, we'll recognize you being here today. Give them a round of applause. Thank you, Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from the 28th. Do you want to do it from your chair, Senator? Or?
I want to go home. Hello. Thank you, Mr. President, senators. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you on an issue that is deeply personal to me, autism. The autism spectrum disorder affects communication, behavior, and social interaction. It's estimated that 1 in 36 children in the United States has autism, with boys nearly 4 times more likely to be diagnosed than girls. Here in Georgia, approximately 1 in 40 8-year-old children have been identified as ASD. Early detection is crucial, as autism can sometimes be diagnosed as early as 18 months or by age 2 or 3. A reliable diagnosis can often be made. However, racial and ethnic disparities still exist when it comes to diagnosis and access to resources. The issue is personal because my grandson, Bryce James, has autism. 6 feet tall and is only 14 years old, and he is brilliant. But at age 7, he had not been diagnosed. He was nonverbal and he walked on his tippy toes like a ballerina. And once he was diagnosed and he started getting treatments, the young man now makes straight A's, and he has won so many medals with the Olympic, what is it, the one for disabled children. Children like Bryce have immense potential, yet they are often misjudged simply because they interact in the world differently. I'm proud to stand before you today to provide additional information on two critical pieces of legislation, Senate Bill 211 and House Bill 465, that came over from the House with unanimous votes in all the committee process that it went to, including on the floor. They aim to protect some of our most vulnerable citizens. SB 211 is the Autism Missing Person Alert System Act. It creates a statewide alert system designed to locate individuals with autism who go missing. And these children go missing from nursery school, they go missing from middle and high school. They just walk away, and often they don't notice that they're gone. They think they just didn't go to school that day. And we know that those on that spectrum face unique challenges, often being drawn to water sources like lakes and rivers. And many who have disappeared have been found in swimming pools, maybe even their own, that they swim in all the time when they're supervised, or they are never found. This bill ensures that law enforcement, the governor's office, and the community partners can act swiftly and prioritize searches in high-risk areas. I was extremely proud to author this bill, and I am hopeful that language from this bill can be included in future legislation. We must protect our state's children who have this disorder. And, you know, many people said that the Maddie's bill covered this, but it does not. I read the bill, I read the law, and it is for cognitive mental disorders like dementia and others. And it is not for autism, because autism is a developmental disorder. And it does not include that Maddie's law is for adults. And the children are the ones who are missing and never found here in the state of Georgia even. 211, the autism.
Senator, go ahead and wrap it up. You've passed your time here. So.
Okay. I'm trying to talk fast. I'm from the South. I'm sorry. Okay, let me just sum it up by saying that I hope that we can look at House Bill 465 bills, because it builds on that effort of expanding the Maddie's Call. It is, and Maddie's Call does not include this group of children. My bill, the only difference in the one from the Senate is that I wanted to add a bracelet or band for those children so they could be diagnosed and not thrown into jail, get hurt if the police see them running or doing something. So thank you for listening to me. I hope that we can do something about autism in the state of Georgia. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Senator. Recognize the Senator from the 7th.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are not safer when we silence dissent. We are not stronger when we deport voices of conscience. We are not America if we punish people for daring to speak their truth. Colleagues, I rise today because of what is happening in our country. To legal immigrants, to student activists, to people who dare to believe that America stood for freedom is nothing short of a national disgrace. Let me say this plainly. The Trump administration is using our immigration system as a weapon against political dissent. They are targeting green card holders, visa holders, international students, not because they've broken the law, but because they dared to speak up, because they marched, because they held signs, and because they believed in free speech. Let me ask you this. Since when did becoming an activist become grounds for deportation? Since when did holding a different opinion than Marco Rubio or Donald Trump mean that you don't belong in this country? And I'll tell you something personal that keeps me up at night. I've been out there too. I've organized protests. I've spoken out. I've challenged those in power loudly and publicly. And the only thing that's protecting me from being thrown in a detention center or being shipped off to Guantanamo Bay is the fact that I was born on this soil. My citizenship is the thin line standing between me and the same kind of retaliatory crackdown we are seeing right now. We've seen a Columbia graduate student stripped of his green card and threatened with deportation because he joined a protest. A Brown University professor, a doctor, detained and deported because of photos on her phone. A Georgetown researcher was detained without charges over his views and his wife's Palestinian heritage. A Turkish doctoral student was just locked up without charges. And these are not isolated mistakes, these are intentional messages. And the message is this: if you challenge us, we will come for you. That should terrify every single American. Because this isn't just about immigrants. This is about the erosion of our rights. This is about free speech, and this is about due process. And this is about the fact that the people this country once welcomed as neighbors, scholars, workers, and classmates are now being treated like enemies simply for caring for justice. If they can do it to a permanent resident today, they can do it to a citizen tomorrow. If they can arrest someone for carrying a protest sign, they can arrest you for wearing a t-shirt. This is not how a democracy behaves. This is how authoritarian regimes operate. Now, some of my colleagues will say, well, coming to America is a privilege, not a right. To them I say, being an American means nothing if we abandon the values that define us. Free speech is not a privilege, it is a right. Peaceful protest is not terrorism, it is patriotism. And being an activist doesn't make you a threat, it makes you courageous. Let me remind you, some of the greatest changes in our nation's history, civil rights, women's suffrage, labor protections, came from people who were told to sit down and shut up. And thank God they didn't. Because the moment we start punishing people for demanding better, we lose what makes America worth fighting for in the first place. To every student watching this, whether you're a student at UGA, Georgia State, Gwinnett Tech, or Georgia Tech, I see you. I support you, and I will not let this government bully you into silence. And to the Trump administration, if you think you can terrify our students into silence, if you think you can deport away dissent, you don't know a darn thing about the spirit of this country, because we were built by the bold. We were shaped by the brave, and we will not be broken by cowardice in a suit and tie. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the belt.
Recognize Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, we have a lot of champions in the building today. Lots of groups here from all over our districts. I have one as well. Up in the gallery, I have a group of girls wrestlers that won state championships this year back in January. The team won in the duels and the traditional meet. They're joined today by our Superintendent Sharon Head, Deputy Superintendent Greg Trammell, coaches Scott DeGraff, Sean Mullins, and Jesse Askew. Two of the wrestlers, and I may get this name botched up a little bit, Greta Garbuzovas and Nora Garbuzovas, were individual state winners as well. Thank you, ladies, for visiting your state capitol today, and congratulations to your victories, and go do it some more, and go Indians. Y'all give these girls a big warm welcome to the Georgia Capitol.
Thank you, Senator. Recognize the senator from the 20th. Perry, Georgia's pride and joy, senator from the 20th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, a former member of this body went to his heavenly home on March 23rd. Clarence Ed Barker. He was 90 years old. He served in this body from 1973, which is the year my father came into the House, until 1991. So he served while my father was here. He also served while the president's father was here. He had a lifetime of service. Really fine man, and I know that when he came to the pearly gates, he was welcomed with a job well done, my good and faithful servant. So our heart goes out to his wife, Janet, and to his family. I want them to know that they are in our thoughts and prayers, and I would ask the Senate to please join me in a moment of silence to pray for the family and as they celebrate the life of Senator Ed Barker.
Please give the senator a moment. Senators ask that every member stand and remember one of our fallen colleagues.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Recognize Senator from the 35th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, colleagues. I am here to continue to sound the alarm about what is going on in Washington and how it's impacting Georgia directly. And no, I'm not talking about a signal chat or attack plans. I am talking about something much more important than that, especially for folks here in Georgia. I'm talking about health care. Yesterday, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services terminated $12 billion in grants to states and local health departments. These cuts could cost Georgia around $200 million. $200 million in funding for mental health services, for health care, and for the well-being of our community. And when you couple this $200 million with the many other cuts that we've seen, the impact to Georgia and its families continues to increase. But I want to warn you about something more specific than that. The administration stated that these grants were pandemic-era grants that were no longer needed. Well, colleagues, I can tell you what's next on the chopping block. Enhanced subsidies for health insurance, including health insurance that is on Georgia Access, a program that many of you in this chamber like to tout as a success because it insures 1.5 million Georgians. The vast majority of those Georgians that are insured under Georgia Access are using enhanced subsidies to pay for those health insurance premiums. If Congress does not renew enhanced subsidies for health insurance, it will make Georgia Access inaccessible. It will make Georgia Access meaningless because 93% of those people would not be able to afford health insurance on the program. And let me tell you what that means for us. That means an additional 1 million Georgians without health insurance. Whether you buy into the 500,000 Georgians that already do not have health insurance, or if you say it's less than that, you're going to add 1 million people to that uninsured bucket. Y'all, we have been in this situation before, and with 1 million people without health insurance, our healthcare system will break. With 1 million people uninsured, our healthcare system will break. We cannot be silenced on this. We have to speak out on it, but we also have to prepare for this disaster. And for those of you who are wondering why these cuts are being made, I'm going to repeat. It is being made for the $4 trillion tax cut for Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and his buddies. Tax cuts that the vast majority of Georgians won't see in their paycheck. This is wrong, it is unjust, it is unfair, and we have to stop it. Mr. President, I yield the well.
Recognize Senator from the 26th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think many of us run for office to try to serve the folks in the state of Georgia and serve our districts. One of the most proudest things that I have done as an elected official is be able to go to department heads and departments when one of my constituents has a problem and they say, I've called, I can't get anybody to answer my call. And they have an advocate for them. Today, as I was at home last week, and my wife picked up the phone and showed me something. Now, the gentleman from the 21st, my warm and close and trusted friend. But we've had some hot arguments in this body. And sometimes I vehemently objected to what he does. But he's one out of Georgia. He's part of this body. And he's been selected to head up the United States Treasury. He's supposed to start sometime around May 1st. I want him not to forget from where he come from. That he served in a body that supposedly was able to try to help Georgians. And I want to tell him when he gets to Washington, when he calls me to hire me, I want him to tell them that I'm not a DEI. I'm qualified because I know how to count money. And see, if you don't know how to count money, you're in a world of trouble. You can't pay your bills. Folks calling you all day, all night long, telling you what you owe. And I just want to let him know that when you call me to serve with you, I'm not a DEI. I'm qualified, and that's what you need to tell them. Why? Because the senator from the 26th knows how to count that money. Ladies and gentlemen, many of you might not agree with him. I specifically don't agree with him on a lot of things. But he's been chosen. He will leave this body. And I just think it's appropriate that we as his colleagues, even though we don't agree with his politics, give him a round of applause for being chosen to go to D.C. and work in the new federal administration. So if y'all don't mind standing and just give him a clap, because he's from Georgia. Mr. President, he's absent. I don't know why, but, you know, he's absent a lot of times. I yield well.
Never a dull moment. Thank you, Senator from the 26th. Any other points of personal privilege? I don't think anybody wants to follow that one anyway. So, Senator from the 55th, you have a motion.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I ask that SR 473 be removed from the consent calendar of privileged resolutions.
Secretary, read the caption.
Senate Resolution 473 by Senator Mangum of the 55th and others builds between a resolution honoring the Black Man Lab for dedication, empowering black men, enriching the community, and for other purposes. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Mr. President, pursuant to Senate Rule 3, 1.7, I ask unanimous consent that SR 473 be withdrawn from consideration.
Is there objection? Hearing none. Motion granted.
Thank you, sir.
Did I see the fiance of the senator from the 53rd back there in the back? Let's give her a round of applause, putting up with the senator from the 53rd. When is the wedding date? When is the wedding date? May 1st? May 3rd. You still got time, honey. You still got time. He way out kicked his coverage with you. No, we're glad to have you. And he's a good man. He's a good man. You have a consent calendar of privilege resolutions. Does any senator wish to remove the resolution from the consent calendar? Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution on the consent calendar? Chair hears none, and the resolution on the consent calendars are adopted. Are there any motions to withdraw or commit? You have before you a consent calendar of local bills. Secretary, we have any objections?
Mr. President, Senator Jackson of the 41st, Parent of the 44th, and Wicks of the 34th have filed an objection to Senate Bill 350 pursuant to Senate Rule 4-2.8b, which is on the local consent calendar for today, and hereby requests that it be removed to the local contested calendar.
All right, so SB 350, we'll remove it from the consent calendar. We'll take it up separately. Is there objection to agree until the Board Committee on State and Local Governmental Operations, which is favorable to the passage of the bills on the local consent calendar? Chair hears none. The Board Committee has agreed to. Questions on the passage of the bill on the local consent calendar? All those in favor vote yea, opposed nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bills, the yeas are 52, nays are 0. This bill on the local consent calendar, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. All right, Secretary, read SB 350 and the amendment, please.
Senate Bill 350 by Senator Jackson, the 41st, and others. Bills between Town and Act to amend an act providing for the compensation of certain county officers and officials of DeKalb County, approved March 31st, 1976, as amended so as to revise the compensation of certain judges, judicial officers, and county officers, to make conforming changes related to court names changed by general laws, provide for related matters, provide for effective dates, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on State and Local Governmental Operations recommends that this bill do pass. Respectfully submitted, Senator Dixon, Chairman. Mr. President, Senator Jackson, the 41st, offers the following amendment number 1 to amend Senate Bill 350 by replacing 75% on lines 25 and 26 with 80% by replacing 31.98432664131.9% on line 33 with 32% by replacing lines 47 through 50 with the following. A, the annual salary of the clerk of the State Court of DeKalb County shall be 90% of the annual salary received by the clerk of the Superior Court of DeKalb County and for other purposes. Mr. President, that completes the order.
Recognize Senator from the 41st.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can y'all hear me? Okay, this is a local bill for DeKalb County. We just needed to make an amendment to that bill, and that's why it's been pulled off. We're not actually contesting the heart of the bill. We just still very much believe in it. But we are making just a few corrections. One, our tax commissioner came in and asked that, just like everyone else is getting a COLA, that we would provide a COLA for the tax commissioner as well. So that's what you're seeing here reflected. Our Board of Commissioners asked for their salary to not be 31.98%, but they have just that round, even number of 32%, which I do think is reasonable. And then we are giving some raises to our state court judges, magistrate judges, and probate judges. I will say everyone in DeKalb County, all of the judges involved in this are happy with this. The Superior Court judges have asked to not be a part of this bill because later on this year we will be hearing a bill that will impact their salary. So again, this is a local bill. We just needed to make an amendment to get it all really clean here. And I please ask your favorable consent on this amendment as well. Thank you.
Senator has yielded. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. And the previous question is ordered. We have questions on amendment number 1, authored by the senator from the 41st. Is there objection to amendment number 1? Hearing none, amendment number 1 is added. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Senator from the 20th, for what purpose do you rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
I guess this came through the Senate SLOGO committee, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what the vote was out of the committee?
You know, as much as I like to retain all those votes in my head, I left that one off my memory block here. So, but I'm sure the senator right there from the 41st can enlighten.
I'll ask her offline.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. The question is on the passage of the bill as amended. All those in favor of the bill will vote yea. Opposed, nay. Secretary will unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 52, nays are 0. This bill having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed as amended. Moving on to the rules calendar. Secretary Reed, House Bill 428.
House Bill 428 by Representative Franklin on 160th and others. Bill to be entitled and act to amend Chapter 1, Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions regarding health so as to codify right to in vitro fertilization for individuals, provide for definitions, provide for related matters, provide for legislative findings, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Senator Watson, Chairman. Mr. President, the Senate Committee on Health and Human Services offers the following substitute to House Bill 428, a bill to be entitled to amend Chapter 1 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to general provisions regarding health so as to provide that nothing in Georgia law prohibits or prevents an individual from obtaining in vitro fertilization in the state, to provide for definitions, to provide for related matters, to provide for legislative findings, to repeal conflicting laws, and for other purposes. Mr. President, that completes the order.
The Good Doctor from Savannah, Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my privilege today to bring you House Bill 428. This was an announced Speaker's priority in early this year, and he chose a wonderful person and couple to carry this bill in the House. Representative Franklin is the epitome of why in vitro fertilization should be clarified and legal in the state of Georgia. This bill is a simple bill. It's just 2 pages, really just 1.5, and it clarifies the definition of in vitro fertilization. Then it goes on to state that there is no prohibition. It is by law in our state. It will be in our OCGA, and it serves a great purpose in that in vitro fertilization is something that many couples have to go through. Representative Franklin and his wife, let me just say that in Senate Health and Human Services, Representative Franklin shared his story, their story together of the challenges of having children. And they had spent multiple years, 14 years, praying about this, medicines, chemicals, hormones, etc., vitamins, and so forth, and had been unsuccessful. But now they have been successful through in vitro fertilization itself. And so they were a great couple to represent what in vitro fertilization does for our community. And she and he, they're pregnant and due June 3rd, and at the end of May, we'll be delivering a baby through in vitro fertilization. So again, this bill clarifies, puts in code what is now being done and will continue to be done in the future. Mr. President, I'm happy to answer any questions. If not, I would ask for your favorable consideration.
You do have one question, Senator. I recognize the Senator from the 14th. Oh, you want to speak to it? I'm sorry. You have no questions, Senator.
No, let me just say here, Lehman Franklin and Lori are here in the chamber with us, celebrating life and celebrating in vitro fertilization, and we just wanted to recognize them and thank them for being here. Thank you for carrying the bill, and with that, I'll yield the well, Mr. President.
Recognize the Senator from the 14th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Rise to support the bill. Fun fact about me, I myself am a donor-conceived person. The technology was new around the time that this happened for me in the late 80s, but it's been a long journey, and it's a really important realization for all of us to have when talking about this issue, that many of our families are affected by this, are uplifted by this, and people you walk around with or friends with every day might have an intimate connection to this process. Only other comment I want to make is I want to applaud the Senate version of this bill. I think it's very well tailored. It basically operates to prevent any other provision in the Georgia Code from being interpreted in a way that could limit access. So no criminal laws, no civil laws. It's just a protection against any other law being construed in a way to limit access. So I think it's well written. I think it does what it's intended to accomplish, and it's going to protect people like me and families like mine. So thank you, Mr. President.
Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Is there objection to the previous question being ordered? Chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Question is on the adoption of the committee substitute. Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there objection to agreeing to the report of committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? Chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Is there objection to the main question being ordered? Chair hears none. The main question is ordered. Questions on the passage of the bill by substitute. All those in favor vote yea. All opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine. On the passage of the bill, the yeas are 53, the nays are 1. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed by substitute. We're going to stand at ease for lunch. It's about 12:15. I know the Pro Tem has lunch provided for you guys and ladies in the anteroom here. And so we're going to break, probably come back around 1:15, 1:30. So just stand at ease.